Hi all, Kerrigan here. Welcome back to Horse Isle 3. This is going to be a video for those beginners out there that have just signed into Horse Isle for the very first time. When that happens, you'll be generated at some random club, and there are several of them. And this is basically what you'll see. It'll be daytime or nighttime. In this case, it's nighttime. Some bars up in the left-hand corner, a little map on the upper right hand corner, and then on the bottom you'll have little helpful hints, and it kind of explains a little bit of how to control and to move your character. This situation I am actually in first person, and that's exactly what you'll be in. And a lot of people, when you move around in this view, you kind of get a little bit of motion sickness, and if that happens excuse me, if that happens, all you got to do is roll back on your mouse, and that'll bring you into third person view, and you can kind of see when you move around, in this case, that it's not really going to affect your motion sickness a little bit. There's a few people that have had that problem, and that's kind of why I explained that. You can also scroll around your character by pushing and holding the right mouse key, and then just kind of moving around with your mouse, whether you're using a pad. I happen to have a thumb roller on mine, so it just kind of shows different angles. You can go up, you can go down, and you can actually go out quite a bit of ways by scrolling. You can kind of go all the way to the back, as far out as it can go. And a lot of people use this mode just because it's a little bit further away and they can kind of get a wider angle view of the world around them. This is what you will regenerate into, is what is known as a welcome or new player corral. And that's where you will start, and that's where you'll be. And of course, if you happen to land at a busy club, you're going to probably get bombarded with helpers. Just so you know, but people like to help. If you wish to kind of go back to your original default after you've been scrolling around a little bit, just tap the right mouse key and it'll automatically snap to a default, and you can scroll back down to get into first person view or what have you. I've been playing this game since beta, and I obviously don't use these the crosshairs or the tips anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of them. But you can do that by hitting the escape key and kind of coming up here to what looks like the little settings tool. It looks like a little wrench. Just click on that. It'll pop up this menu of other game settings, and you can basically change all your music, the sound of the world, the interface, the sound of the horses, instruments, etc. And I'm going to go ahead and click on where it says Hide GUI, and I'm going to go ahead and click on next to the crosshairs, because I'm going to get rid of that. And I pretty much leave everything else up here just as it is. And then I'm going to also go down and get rid of the check mark next to where it says beginner mode. And then I'm going to click save settings. And that will automatically get rid of all that information and the little crosshairs, because to me those crosshairs are kind of distracting, but that's just me, and a lot of people like them. But this club is Black Veil that you might generate into. I'm the owner of Club Black Veil, and I bought this deed, so to speak, at the beginning of Live, which was on August 2019. And the clubs have, they have what this is called a club tower or clubhouse. I've chosen to build the most expensive one, but they have like different types. This is one I believe is, oh goodness, I don't remember what it's called. To be honest, I apologize. Let me see. The Victorian clubhouse towers, and all clubs will have a clubhouse. Some will have the Victorian, some will have like a Western style, and some will have just the Adobe. There we go. All clubs will have stores. In this case, here at Black Veil, the leadership team and I chose to kind of go with a Western style for our stores. So to find out what that's all about, so you can see that all of our buildings kind of have like a Western theme. All of our stores, all of these are stores. You can kind of just walk down and see if you're looking for a specific one, I'll show you how to find that in a minute. You can also just kind of look around and walk down and just to view everything. We're going to go into a store. To get into one of them, we'll go into my store, which is right up here. I breed Baroque type horses. So, meaning Frisians, Andalusians, Warlanders, and the like. Just go ahead, you can just go ahead and look at it and just click your left mouse key. And it'll pull up this tiny little menu here that says Shop or About. You just want to click on Shop. About basically tells you about the, obviously it's the information about what you're looking at. But for this, we're going to kind of go and see what I might have available. I put some stallions in my store yesterday for studs. So you just click on Shop. And you can see that I have, these are my stallions that I have currently listed. I have 2 Frisians, an Andalusian, a Warlander. I even have a foundation Baroque. We'll get to that in a minute. That's a different kind of, it looks like a Frisian, but it's a different type. We'll get into that in a minute. And I'm also, in this store, in this case, I'm selling Mobia, and we'll get into that too in just a moment. What Mobia. You can just click on Profile. And this will give you a little information about the stallion. This one here, his name is Raves Harley. And he's actually... He's 17 hands, and a lot of folks on this game look for taller horses because they like to do competitions. Me, on the other hand, I cannot do competitions because every time I have tried, I get disconnected from the game, so I've basically given up. But to get information, you can kind of just scroll down here, and it'll tell you a little bit about the horse itself. For example, most folks around here on this game are looking at the genetic stats here, the 1039, meaning that's what his... I guess his top genetic stat would be, but he can get up to 1071, so he's actually, he wouldn't make for a very good competition horse. But I actually, when I breed my horse, I actually breed for height and for personality and color, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But you can also, if you're looking at specific breeds, say for example, let me just put one of my other horses in here. He's a thoroughbred. That'll be more, give you more of an idea of what most folks around here like to do competitions. And let's see if I can find, this is something that I can do, and you will be able to do it as well if you ever open a store. You could just click on your shop key like I just did, and you would go down to management. And if you can only have a store if you join a club, and you can do this exact same thing when you do have a store put up. You just click on manage, and I can actually make any changes that I wish to put in here. For example, right now I'm going to put another stallion in here. I believe he's a stallion now. So I'm going to put under stud, and I'm actually going to look for him because I don't have him specifically anywhere because he's a thoroughbred, and I don't usually breed a lot of thoroughbreds. But I'll scroll down to find the stallion that I'm looking for, and here he is. His name is Blazing Kicks, and I'm going to click on add. I'm going to add him as a stud. I clicked on stud, and I'm going to put down how much I want for his stud fee. And for him, let's do 1100. And then you would click on put breedable horse in store. And now you can see that now that stallion is right here in the store at stud. Click on save store profile, and that'll save that information. And then now we can kind of go in and look at this stallion here. I actually bought him from a bud of mine, and the reason I bought him is because of his coloring. I thought he was kind of cool looking. People will look at the fact that he's got genetic stats of 1220 without any training. He has no training, I don't believe. Yeah, 20 experience. He doesn't have any training per se. But they'll also look at his speed and his agility, endurance. He's got good speed on here. Performance metrics is what they really look at for competition horses. They look at how fast he can run, how fast he can accelerate and decelerate, and his jump power. Those are the main things that folks are looking for when they're looking for a competition horse. And when you have a profile like this, and if you want to get a closer look, just push and hold your F key, and it'll zoom in on the horse, and you can kind of use your mouse, your left mouse key, and kind of move the horse around to kind of see a little bit more like in any details that he might have. You know, you can kind of let go of the F key, and it'll go right back to the default setting, and you can just kind of spin him around and see if he's got anything that you're looking for. And then once you let go of your left mouse key, he'll automatically snap back into position at the beginning, as he was at the beginning. Another thing that folks look for on here is personality. And this horse has a 5/6 personality because he's 49% antisocial, but it's a higher amount. So if I bred him, say, to a 6/6 mare, then I might get a decent 6/6 foal. But if I were to breed him to a mare, I would probably look for one that is the 6/6, which means all of these little squares are on this side of the, on the right side of the bars here. And then I would also go up and look for the mare's stats and make sure that she's at least equal or higher than this to get a decent foal out of him. And then once you're done looking, you can also kind of just click on these arrow keys here to kind of go through all the horses. As I said, I do mostly Baroque. For example, this is one of my stallions, my Frisian stallions. Baroque pintos are actually pintos. This one's a foundation Baroque, so he doesn't have any markings. But it may be very well that it's in his genes that he could give a pinto colored foal, especially if bred to another pinto, Baroque pinto. These here are traders. Traders are a place where you can see that it has like that little horse head with the little money sign on it, dollar sign. Traders are a place where folks will go to sell horses that they can't sell or that they just want to get rid of. It basically, what happens is the horse just gets removed from the game completely. A lot of folks prefer to sell them specifically, but sometimes people aren't looking for them, and if they need the space or they want to just get rid of it. This is what people would use. And again, to look at what these traders are actually asking for, they'll have a list of what they want, and you can just click on your left mouse key and one of them should pop up, or hit the escape key and use your little arrow and point. We'll click on this one here and then click your left mouse key, and it'll pull. You'll want to click on view, and this will tell you that they're looking for brave horses. They're actually looking for Andalusians. If I had any Andalusians for sale that I haven't sold yet, I could list them here and get 40, 50. Now, the 4,050, that is for a thing that I have where it doubles the price. But normally it wouldn't be that high unless you have that particular trade, and I'll explain that in just a moment. I know it's kind of confusing. It'll say, for example, and for beginners, and if you were looking at, say you had a PRE or an Andalusian, and you wanted to sell it, what you're going to see here, you probably won't see this 4,050. You'll probably see 2,025 or something like that. Because I actually have what they call, I can't explain what it's called. Let's go to the library and I can kind of tell you a little bit about them. Most clubs will have a library. This is our library. It looks like it has on the top there, you can see like a little book, open book. Again, the same was going into a store. You can click on it and click on view or use. And what this tome, that's the word I was looking for, the tome that I specialize in, I actually have a couple of them. See right here where it shows that I get 50% more gold from a trader because it took me 45 hours to learn that. And you can click on them to learn something new. I'm only allowed to have 3 at the moment, so I actually have 3. Another building you'll be interested in if you come on game is the auction house. Now, once you get some gold, and I'll explain how to do that in just a minute. On there, and the same thing, you just click on view, click on it and click on view, and it'll list all the horses that are for sale at auction. And you can kind of look through it. If you're looking for a specific breed, you can actually choose, like if you want to list it by breed, you can click on breed. If you want to listen to time left, which is the default, meaning how much time is left. For example, this one's got 2 minutes left, whereas the ones down on the bottom would have more time. For example, this one has 147 minutes. If you find a horse that you're looking at, let's see, we'll just click on this paint horse, for example. It has 27 minutes left in the auction. It's a foal because it's young. And you can just click on look, and it's going to come up with asking if you want to place a bid. But before you do that, you might want to look at the horse and kind of look at its information. So you would click view. And view will kind of show you what the horse looks like, and you can kind of, again, scroll down and see what kind of information you want to get from that. Hit escape to get out. And that is it for the stores, and that's basically what most clubs have. There are places around here called like competitions. This would be considered a competition or a course. Members of clubs can create their own courses, and to do a course you can click on this and you can click on start. It'll probably tell me, and if you click on try, it'll put you in there and I can actually go through and try it. But again, if I tried that right now, my game would disconnect me, so I'm not even going to worry about that. But that's how you would try a course. You can also go down and look at a competition board. Some competitions boards will be listed right up here at the front of the club. Ours is further back because the competition that we do most of the time is a horse show, and that's what this little circular ring here is for. This little horseshoe shaped ring is for horse shows when you want to start a horse show. But here's the competitions board, and this is where you would kind of find out what competitions are going on and which ones have been done. You do have to be a member. You have to be a member of the club. I apologize. And you have to be a higher member too. I believe you have to be at least a gold member of a club. And to find out find out information and any information about this game, you can click on the help key here, and that'll tell you, like, for example, game here. And from here, we're going to kind of click on club, and that'll explain a little bit about what clubs are and what happens with clubs. Being in a club is very beneficial. It gives you extra essence, and it gives you, a chance to have a store where you can make money. And it just kind of gives you a little bit of information about what a club is. And that's what you can find out in the help topics. Or for those beginners that still have the beginner tips and things here, there will be a beginner bird right here you can click on as well. It looks like a little parrot, and you can ask that thing questions too, and it'll try to answer it best it can. And outside of that, that is pretty much it for clubs.